and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In this video, we're making lollipop holders for Valentine's Day. I've created 5 free SVGs and you can see them all here. Let's find out how to make them.
You can download the free cutting file for this project at craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs or follow the link in the description of this video to go straight to the download page. The download comes in a zip folder and you need to unzip this before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to get the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project. Go into Upload over on the left and then Upload Image. You can see I've already uploaded 4 of the lollipop holders, so I'm just going to do the last one to show you how to do it. So I'll click Upload Image and then you can either click Browse to find the file on your computer or you can drag and drop it in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of your folder and then within there is another folder called SVG Files. Double click into there and you can see all the SVG files for the lollipop holders. You know that these are the correct ones to choose because they start SVG in the file name. The one I have left to do is the butterfly, so let's click and drag that in. And then it will look like this when you upload it. Go ahead and press upload and then it will appear in your recent uploads. Then you can simply click it to add it to your canvas, or if you want to upload any of the other ones, click upload image and go through the process again for the others. Let's load a couple of different ones onto my canvas. I'll go for the butterfly, the rosebud and the heart. So I've clicked all of those 3 and now I can press add to canvas. It might take a little while to load if you've selected multiples because it's got a lot to process. Here are my 3 lollipop holders and they should load in at the correct size, but it's always a good idea just to check. If you're using a different sized lollipop, then you may need to make them bigger or smaller, but you can check the size by clicking on them and then looking at the width and the height in the top. The screen here shows the sizes that the designs have been made to be at, so I recommend changing them to match this size if they aren't automatically coming in at those specific sizes. These designs come all ready to cut, so there's really nothing else you need to do in Design Space. Now you'll notice that some of them have these little cutouts on them. That's to make them easier to know exactly where to fold. And these are actually cuts. They're not using any of the scoring tools that come with the Cricut, which means that you can use this on any of the Cricut machines, including the Cricut Joy. I'm just going to check my colours on here. So let's go to Colour Sync. And then that's looking good, apart from, if you see here, the pink on my butterfly is slightly different to the pink on the hearts. And actually, I'd probably use the same piece of card for that one. So I'll just drag the butterfly one onto the hearts and then that'll make it a little bit easier when I come to cut it. When you're ready to cut, click on Make It and it will separate out everything into the colours. You can change the paper size in here and you will need to do that for every single colour. And then you can also rotate, which can be great for using up less of your cardstock. So by doing that and cutting it that direction instead, it means I'll have all of this piece of the card ready to use for a different project another day. So go ahead, get everything cut out from cardstock, and then I'll show you how to stick the Valentine's Day lollipop holders together. Here is my Love Heart lollipop holder all ready to stick together. You can see I've already stuck together the cupcake, the butterfly and the rosebud. So for this video I'll show you how to stick together the heart one and also the full rose, as that one's a little bit different. Here are my little lollipops that I'm using. They're a little bit smaller than the normal ones I get, but you can see they still fit in really nicely. And it really is just as simple as gluing everything together. So I'm going to start with my bottom pink hearts and put my glue around. Stick it over. Make sure you're careful when you're lining up pieces that go over the hole for the lollipop, just to make sure it lines up exactly. Otherwise your lolly might not fit.
That one just goes on top. And then I need to do the other side. So you can see just how quickly these come together. They're simple and quick to cut because all the shapes are fairly sort of simple. There's nothing really intricate here. And the reason I did that and made them quite simple was that if you want to make lots of them, for example, maybe for everyone in your child's class at school, then they won't take a really, really long time to make. They're also great for using up your scraps of card because you just need a little bit of colour for most of them. I'm going to let the glue dry on that one and start gluing the rose one. Here's my rose design, and the only reason this one's different is that the bottom bits of the rose need to be stuck on afterwards because they go over the little bit that we're going to fold. So I'm going to start actually on this one just by folding it. I'm going to go upwards on the little dashed lines so that it folds in half, and then you've got a little ridge along the bottom. And then my lolly just slides in that hole, and then you need to wiggle it about so it fits in the gap. And then we're going to use some double-sided tape to close this up. Where's my tape? Okay, I'm using a tape runner, but you could just glue it or use normal double-sided tape. I've also seen people do them with sort of Velcro, so they can be reused. So whatever you want. I'm putting quite a bit on so that it definitely sticks. And then close that up so the front and back should line up exactly. Here we go. This is the only one that you need to stick the bits on after it's folded. All of the other ones work sort of before it's done. And the reason for that is that I just wanted to have a little overlap at the bottom to show the bottom of the rose. So now I can add my glue on this one. And don't put glue right at the bottom because that's not got anything there to stick to. And mine isn't lining up properly. I think I've put glue on the wrong side. Oh dear, that always happens on video, doesn't it? That should line up perfectly against the edges of the lighter colour. Mine isn't. I think I've just done the wrong one. Yeah, it should have been that side. Never mind. Let's make sure I get it right on this one. So that side, I want to glue this one. I'm sure you won't even notice by the time it's all finished and actually given to someone. I'm going to hold this in place for a minute for my glue to dry. Because of the curve of where we folded it around the lolly, it just needs to be held in place a little bit to stop it popping off. And you see that one, the rose actually perfectly lines up. There you go, there's my rose one finished. We can just put together the heart. Just like we did with the rose, we're going to turn it over and fold it upwards along those little rectangle lines. Fold it so that our hearts line up along the front and the back. Then slide the lollipop in. Check it all fits, which it does, perfect. And then a bit more tape along the top. Then all you need to do is push it together and get it stuck. These lollipops aren't actually circular, so they're not the best, but I couldn't find the normal ones that are traditionally used in these. But I'm really happy with how they've turned out. It's a lovely, cute little lollipop collection, just in time for Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make these lollipop holders for Valentine's Day. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Valentine's Day crafts and Cricut tutorials. Thank you for watching. Bye!